Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is the day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it. Today we are having another training class, guys. So thank you guys for joining. Um, Today what we are going over is the one color monomer liquid and polymer powder nail enhancements over the nail tips or the natural nails. So that's what we're going over today. So let's bring them on in, guys. Thank you. Let's bring it in. Tag your nail tech buddies and anybody that's interested in learning how to do nails. Ping them in. Tag them in. Today is the day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it. So today's training class is the one color monomer liquid and polymer powder nail enhancements over the natural nail or the natural over the natural nail or over a nail tip. And first I'm going to write down the notes for you guys on the board, and then we're going to do it on our training hand. We're going to do it on our training hand and our training finger. So let's get started with the notes. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you know anyone that's having problems with this, then please tag them into this live training. This is a free live training, guys. And I'm like pretty much the only nail instructor that's doing free live trainings. Like, who gives away free stuff? I do. So let's get started. So these are my notes, and I'm going to write it up here on the board. So we are doing our acrylic application today. It's called one color monomer liquid and polymer powder nail enhancements over the natural tip or the natural nail, but I'm going to put acrylic application. Acrylic application. This is just so we won't run out of space on the board. Let me get a new marker, because the marker's trying to run out on me. Okay. Boom. So let me turn the light down a little bit so you guys can see my notes. Anytime you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments, and I will answer all of your questions to the best of my ability. So the first thing you do once you have prepped your nail hands, once you prepped everything, you apply your nail primers. So your first step will be to apply nail. First thing you'll do is to apply your nail primer. Once you have did your prepping and everything. Now on Tuesday we went over nail prepping, y'all. I showed you guys how to nail prep on your training hands and your training fingers. I showed you the difference between both. So today we are going into our one color monomer liquid and polymer powder nail enhancements over the natural nail or the nail tips. And the first step after you've done all of your prepping is to apply your nail primer. Now, apply your nail primer and follow the manufacturer's directions when you do so. Allow nail primer to dry thoroughly. Acid-free primer will dry sticky and shiny. Never apply nail enhancement product over wet nail primer. So please allow the nail primer to dry, guys. Don't just place your nail primer on there and then go ahead and start with your nail enhancement. Please allow the nail primer to dry first. This can cause product discoloration and this can cause product discoloration and service breakdown. Avoid overuse of nail primers, guys, because your nail primers are harsh. So, and also apply primer to the natural nail only. Avoid putting it on the nail tips unless instructed by the manufacturer on the nail primer. Now, I don't know too many nail primers that instructs you to place your primer over the nail tips. So, but I always read your manufacturer directions when applying, when using any product. So number 2, once you place your nail primer, then you will prepare your product. Prepare your, we're just gonna put prepare product. So when you prepare your product, pour your monomer liquid and your polymer powder into separate dappen dishes. That's how you prepare your product, guys. I mean, if you're gonna use it straight out of the container, that's up to you. But the correct way to do it is to pour your powder into a separate dappen dish, and that way, you know, you won't mess up your powder in your original container. So your step 2, you want to prepare your product, guys, and preparing your product means pour your monomer and liquid into separate dappen dishes. So that's step 2. Now step 3, you want to dip your brush into the monomer liquid. So your step 2 is you want to dip your brush into the monomer liquid, you guys. Dip the brush into the monomer liquid and wipe the edge of the container to remove the excess liquid. So when you are, your step 3, when you are applying your acrylic, make sure to dip your brush into the monomer liquid. And on Tuesday, I showed you guys how to properly do that with your brush. When you dip your brush into that monomer liquid, make sure those bristles are flat down into the monomer liquids to get rid of the air pockets and the air bubbles out of your bristles. That's the correct way to do that. And we went over that on Tuesday. So if you guys forgot how to do that, after this live training, you can go back to Tuesday's live and watch that whole training. I'm gonna save all of these lives for you guys. So if you want to learn how to master nails like a pro, then you need to be watching my lives all week, every day, because I give out free trainings. And then I also have classes for you to purchase if you need one-on-one training. So number 4, when applying your acrylic, you will form your product bead. Form your product bead. Now on Tuesday, we also went over our different bead methods. We went over how to do a small bead, a medium bead, and a large bead. So you guys should already know how to do that. We have trainings on that as well. So you can also go back to the training from Tuesday and watch how to form your product bead. But that will be your step 4 in your acrylic application, is to form your product bead, guys. And when you are forming your product bead, dip the tip of the small brush into the polymer powder and tap it lightly. Pick up a bead of product with a medium to dry consistency. You want to pick it up with a medium to dry consistency so it won't be runny or wet. I showed you guys how to form a perfect bead on Tuesday, so make sure you go back and watch those videos, and you can put all of these live trainings together to learn how to lay that acrylic like butter. Yes, honey, you're a blessing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, y'all. So when you pick up that bead of product with a medium to dry consistency, make sure it's not runny or wet. That is a large enough for shaping the entire free edge extension. And if it's too large to shape properly, 2 smaller beads may be easier. So that'll be your number 4 when applying your acrylic, guys. So far when you applying your acrylic, you're going to apply your nail primer. And make sure before you put your enhancement on that nail, make sure that your nail primer is dry. because it can cause it can cause product discoloration or surface breakdown if you place enhancement onto a wet nail. So make sure that you allow your nail primer to dry on the nails, guys. And then for number 2, you have to prepare your product. And when you preparing your product, you just pour your monomer and your polymer powder into separate dappen dishes. And your number 3, you want to dip your brush in the monomer liquid. Now when you dipping your brush into the monomer liquid, make sure those bristles are flat down into the monomer. That way you can get rid of the air pockets and the air bubbles. And number 4, you want to form your product bead. And when you form your product bead, make sure you have a medium to dry consistency. That way it won't be too runny or wet, and it won't be too dry. Also, number 5, place your pink bead on the free edge, or whatever color you decide to use, place it on the free edge. So that'll be number 5. So you want to place your bead on the free edge, and this is when you are doing your 3 bead method, y'all. Starting at the free edge, and then you starting at that apex area, and then you finish up around the cuticle area. Now that's pretty much the perfect way to beginners to learn how to do, to learn how to lay that acrylic perfectly and build that, nice strong apex. It's the 3 bead method, which is what we're going over today, the 3 bead method. So I'm just giving you guys the notes first before we take it to the table. So that'll be number 5. When you place your bead on the free edge, place the product bead into the center of the free edge of the tip or the natural nail, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And so number 6, you want to shape your product into the free edge. So number 6 will be shape product into free edge. So when you shape your product into the free edge, you're pretty much walking that bead from one sidewall to the other, controlling your sidewalls at the same time. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that as well. So it's all about, laying down the perfect bead first. Once you lay down the perfect bead and tilt that finger downward, it's gonna mold itself. And all you will pretty much be doing is controlling your sides and just lightly tapping it as you're walking it from one side to the other, just making sure it covers up that whole nail tip. But I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So when you shape your product into the free edge, you're going to use the middle portion of the brush to press and smooth the product to shape the enhancements free edge. So you're going to lightly tap that. You're going to lightly press that product to smooth it into the shape. Into the shape, so you can, so you can have that nice free edge. And you do not paint the product onto the nail. And paint is not a good word for nail technicians. We use polish, guys. Never refer to the word paint. Do not paint the product into the free edge. Pretty much, don't just start flushing away, because you will flush your product off. You will flush your enhancement off of the nail, and at that point, you're going to need another bead. So they use the word paint on the paper, but in other words, they saying flush. Do not flush the product onto the nail. Pressing and smoothing produces a more natural looking nail. So when you're using the body of the brush and you're lightly pressing it, as you're pressing it, it's pushing that product to where you need it to go. And then you're smoothing it to produce a natural looking nail. You want to keep the sidewall lines parallel and avoid widening the tip beyond the natural width of the nail plate. So you want to make sure those sidewalls are even. You want to make sure the sides are even with your sidewall, because you don't want a wider looking nail. You don't want the nail to look wider than the natural shape of your finger, in other words. And so number 7, you want to place your second bead next to the free edge. So, number 7, place second bead next to the free edge. So when you are placing that second bead next to the free edge, this is the point where you are building on your apex area, which is the strongest part of the nail, guys. This is going to determine whether your nail is going to stay strong or is it going to break. You want to use a medium consistency and place that second bead on the nail plate below the first bead and next to the free edge line in the center of the nail. So in other words, that line in the center of the free edge from that first bead is where you're going to place your second bead, right above that. And I'm going to show you guys all of this. So after number 7, after you place that second bead next to the free edge, you want to shape that second bead. Now I can't just tell you to place it without shaping it. Shape the second bead. Now when you placing that second bead, you want to press and smooth your product of sidewalls, making sure that the product is very thin around all edges. So on the edges, you want to make sure that product is very thin. That's how you're going to have a natural looking nail, guys. Leave a tiny free edge margin between the product placement and the skin. In other words, where you start out at when you place the bead, you want to make sure that's thin up there. You don't want it to be thick, because the thicker you build that nail, the thicker your next bead is going to be. Then by the time you get to the cuticle area, it's not going to look flush. It's going to be too thick. You're going to have a hump looking nail at that point. And I'm going to show it to you guys so it can make more sense to you. But you want to avoid placing the product too close to the skin, or the product may lift away from the nail plate if you place it too close to the skin. Also may increase the chance of the client developing a skin irritation or sensitivity or dermatitis, skin dermatitis or whatever. So be sure to use a medium consistency mix that is not too wet. And I showed you guys on Tuesday how to create that perfect bead using stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Now stage 1 is when you as soon as you pick that bead up, you letting that bead absorb before you place it. And number 2 is that dimply texture with all of those dents in it. That just lets you know that the process is still, it's still in process and it's not time to place. Now once that bead become glossy and smooth, then it's time to place. At that point, you're gonna be able to shape that bead and manipulate it to where you need it to go. So it's all about how you picking up those beads. It's gonna determine how it looks when you lay it. Now, number 9, you want to apply a smaller bead, and this is when we're getting to our cuticle area, guys. So number 9, apply smaller bead. Now if my hand is a little sloppy, sorry about that. I'm just trying to make sure, I write these notes down so we can get off into the nitty gritty, because that's what's more important, you guys seeing it. When you apply your smaller beads, pick up smaller beads of polymer powder with your nail brush and place them at the base of the nail, at the nail plate, leaving a tiny margin between the product and the skin. So, when you place that bead around the cuticle area, you don't want to place it near the skin. You want to leave a 3 to 4. You want to place it 3/4 from the cuticle area, leaving that gap. So that way, you can slide it up a little bit where you need it to go, but you want to still be able to leave that gap in between the cuticle area and your nail bed, your nail plate. You don't want product on your skin, because if you get product on the skin, it's gonna cause lifting, guys. Those nails are gonna lift so fast, and once they lift, they're gonna come off. They're gonna break, you know, and then you're gonna have problems. So, number 10, you want to press and smooth that bead. You want to use the brush to press and smooth beads over the entire nail plate. Glide the brush over the nail to smooth out the imperfections. So once you place that last bead and, you know, get it to where you need to go, you want to use your brush to, you know, lightly press and smooth the beads over the entire nail to just make it smooth. You want to glide that brush over the nail to smoothen out the imperfections of the nail. So that'll be number 10. Press and smooth beads. I don't want to take too long on the notes because, you know, I want to leave out my time for showing you guys. But we have 17 steps on acrylic application, so I'm probably going to end up erasing the top part to get the rest of those steps on here. So make sure you write these steps down. And before I erase this, I'm going to go back over it, let you write it down, because you need to be taking notes. And then I'm going to finish out the rest. So for number 11, you want to apply your product edges. Apply more product near the epinecium. And the epinecium is the living skin around the cuticle area. Shape the free edge and to remove imperfections. Then refine with a medium to fine abrasive 240 grit. So you just want to shape and refine your product. For number, that's number 10. That's number 12. Sorry about that. Number 11, you want to apply product to edges. Apply more product near the epinecium, the sidewalls, and the free edge if need be. Product in these areas may be thin for a natural looking nail. So, you know, if you need to apply more product at this point, go ahead and turn that nail to the side profile. And if you have any spots missing where you see product need to be placed, then go ahead and do so before you start to shape and refine the product. So you want to apply the product to edges. So this is just in case you need to. If you turn that nail to the side profile, you will be able to see if you'll be able to see, you know, where the dents and the lumps or anything get, if there are any. And if so, then that's when you will go back in and apply product to the edges to make that nail, you know, look full and complete. That way when you get ready to shape it, you won't remove the product. And it won't be too thin, because you don't want a too thin nail. If it's too thin, it'll break. So once you did that, then we have number 12. Number 12, now you want to shape and refine your product. So you want to use a medium abrasive, 180 to 240 grit to shape the free edge and to remove the imperfections in the nail. Then refine it with the medium fine abrasive, your 240 grit. The file that I use is 100 by 100. So you can use your 100 by 100 file, or at this point you can use your drill. Usually I would go in with my drill first and get all of my drilling out the way. But you know, some people don't use drills. Some nail techs just use file. So that's fine. If you're a file type of person, you'll use your file to perfect the imperfections. But if you're a drill type of person like me, because I don't want to blow out my wrist using that file too much, I use my drill. And once you become an expert at using that drill, which we will be going over that on tomorrow, the fundamentals of electric filing, which is my favorite part. Well, one of my favorite parts. But yeah, that's some good information you guys gonna need too. But First, after I get done applying all of my product, I go in with the drill. I use my safety bit, and I go ahead and get the bulk off the nails with the safety bit. And then once I get done with that, then I refine my shape with my 100 by 100 file. That's what I do. And so once you do that, so you want to shape and refine your product for number 12. I'm going to put one more down here. Then I'm going to read the whole list again. And then I'm going to erase the top half. So if you don't have all of the notes, go ahead and get your notepad and everything now, because I'm going to go and read over everything that you can write it down. And then I'm going to erase the top half. So for number 13, you want to buff your nail enhancement. Now you want to use one of those coarse 3-way block buffers. If you have a 3-way one or a 2-way one, long as it's coarse, you want to use that so you can smoothen out the nail. So you want to buff the nail enhancement with a fine grit buffer until the entire surface is smooth. At this point, you are smoothing out those ridges in the nail. That way, when you do your design or you put your top coat on, it'll be really smooth and it won't have lines in the nail. So that's the reason why we use our coarse block buffer, to smoothen out those ridges and those lines and all of that extra stuff out of the nail. That way it'll be pretty. So you want to use your you want to buff your nail enhancement. Buff your nail enhancement is number 13. And I want to make sure that you guys can see my notes. So you want to buff your nail enhancement for number 13, y'all. So now, we have 4 more notes. So let's go back up what we have so far. Let me grab my nail stick. These are some old little nails that I put some nails on and did. And I use this for my, my pointer. So let's go back over our notes. So, on our notes, this is the acrylic application. This is when we are doing our one color monomer, liquid, and polymer powder nail enhancements over the natural tips or the natural nail. And you'll get these notes in my online beginners course. So, when you apply your acrylic application, first thing you want to do, once you prep your nails really good, which is what I went over on Tuesday, I have a free live video on prepping your nails. So go back and find that video on my page. It's labeled nail prepping on your training hands and your training fingers. So number 1, you want to apply your nail primer. Now when you apply your nail primer, make sure that primer dries before you place your nail enhancement onto that wet nail, because if you don't, it can cause surface breakdown or color or product discoloration. So for number 2, you want to prepare your product, guys. And when you are preparing your product, all you're doing is putting your polymer powder in a different dappen dish and putting your monomer in a different dappen dish. So number 3, you want to put your you want to dip your brush into the monomer. So when you dipping your brush into the monomer, make sure that your bristles is flat down in that monomer to get rid of the air pockets and the air bubbles. And I have videos on that as well. So go back and watch that I did on Tuesday. Number 4, you want to form your product bead. So when you forming your product bead, you want to make sure you get a medium to dry consistency. When you are forming your product bead, a medium to dry consistency. And that's when you forming a perfect bead. Now, I did a video on that on Tuesday on, I'm located in Dallas, Texas, off of Camp Wisdom Road. So, when you forming your product bead, I did a video on how to get a perfect bead and what a wet beads look like and what a dry beads look like on Tuesday. So, go back and find that video so you can watch how to do that. And number 6, I show you how to shape your product into the free edge. Pretty much once you place that bead on the free edge part, when you doing your 3 bead when you doing your 3 bead method, you're gonna start at the free edge and place that near the free edge. All you're gonna do is walk that product from one side to the other, controlling your sidewalls at the same time. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do that in just a minute, so stay tuned. So number 7, you're gonna place your second bead next to the free edge. So once you've placed your free edge, once you place your first bead, and you know you've let that set, then you're placing your second bead right next to that free edge, and that's the point where you are building on your apex area, which is the strongest part of the nail, and that area is gonna make or break those nails. That area is the strongest part of the nails, guys, so you must have an apex and it must be strong. Number 7. Okay, number 8. Shape the second bead. So when you're shaping that second bead, you're pretty much walking that bead from one side to the other, controlling your sidewalls at the same time, and making sure that you don't bring it all the way to the free edge, because we don't need too much powder on the free edge, because we want the free edge to look natural as possible. Once you've already did that first bead on that free edge, there's no need to bring that second bead all the way down to the free edge, because you don't want that free edge to look too thick, but you don't want it to be too thin either. But with your first bead, you should have made it, just right. I am too. How much are your classes? Need more hands-on. Click that link in my bio and go to my online nail class and purchase that class. It's right now it's $74.99. That's the most affordable nail class for beginners on all platforms, because I teach beginners how to master nails like a pro. So purchase that course. It's $74.99. It's at your own pace, and it has 50 lessons in there, and I'm telling you, it's amazing. You're gonna get all of this with the notes, videos, links. I'm talking about you're gonna get everything. I'm excited for you. And then if you want to see a list of all of my classes, then you can click on my nail class list and just look at the different prices of all of my different classes. But right now, my that online course is my #1 seller. So number 9, you want to apply your smaller bead. So this is when you are applying your smaller bead to the cuticle area. You want to leave that 3/4 hat. You want to place that bead 3/4 to the cuticle area. You don't want to place that bead on the skin, because if you place that bead on the skin, what's going to happen is it's going to cause lifting to the nails, y'all. If you place any product on the skin, it's going to lift. So make sure you leave that gap when placing that when that 3/4 gap in between the skin and that bead. So on number 10, you want to press and smooth your beads. So you want to press and smooth your beads lightly with the body of your brush, and then you want to smoothen out the imperfections and glide that brush over the whole nail. And I'm going to show you guys that in a second. Also, you want to apply your product to the edges. So what you're going to do, once you get done placing that third bead, you're going to turn that you're going to turn that nail to the side profile. This is the side profile view of the nail. When you turn it to the side profile, you'll be able to see all of the lumps and the dents and stuff in it, if there are any. And at that point, wherever you're missing product at, you need to go ahead and fill those dents in. Go ahead and fill those dents in. So once you do that, then for number 12, you want to shape and refine your product. So what I do is, I don't start with my hand file first. I start with my drill. I go ahead and get all of my drilling out of the way. And I start with my safety bit. And I go ahead and remove the bulk off the nails. And then I take my 100 by 100 file to go ahead and refine the shape. And so once I do that, then you go to number 13, which is buff. Buff the nail enhancement. Now you want to buff your nail enhancement with that 3-way coarse block buffer. Your 3-way, or if you have a 2-way one, that's fine too, long as it's coarse. Because the coarse one is going to buff all of that, those ridges and lines and all of that extra stuff off the nail. That way you will have a smooth looking nail. And so I just went back over this for you guys, because I'm about to get ready and take out the first half because we have 4 more notes. We have 4 more notes for this before we get off into the fun part. So boom. So we'll erase that just to number 8. So we are on number 14. So number 14, y'all. When applying your acrylic, once you buff that nail with your with your 3-way coarse block buffer, what you're gonna do is take you some alcohol and clean that nail up really good. And once you did that, then you want to apply your nail oil. So number 14 is apply nail oil. So when you apply your nail oil, what you're doing is you're rehydrating the nails because you took all of the oils and everything out of your nails, and you have to rehydrate those nails, y'all. That's important. So when you apply your nail oil, you want to apply and rub that oil into the surrounding skin and nail enhancement, and massage it briefly to speed up the penetration. So for number 14, apply your nail oil. That's simple. Number 15. Number 15, you want to apply your hand cream and your massage hand and oil. You know, if you're going to do all of that. Apply your hand cream and your massage hand and arm cream or whatever. And that's extra. You know, if you're doing a manicure, then, you know, apply your hand creams and do your massage and all of that type of stuff. That's important too. And then number 16, you are going to clean your nail enhancement. You're going to clean your nail enhancement. Ask the client to wash their hands with soap and water at the hand washing station, or to use the nail brush to clean their nails over the finger bowl. Rinse with clean water to remove soap residue that may have causes lifting. Dry thoroughly with a clean disposable towel. These days we use hand sanitizer or whatever. Usually this stage will come before our you know, nail oil. So what we're gonna do is switch these notes up really fast. So for number 14, you're gonna clean your nail enhancement. That's what we're gonna do. So just switch that up real fast and put number 14. You wanna clean your nail enhancement. So when you clean your nail enhancement, use some alcohol and clean all of that dust and everything off the nails. This is before you apply the oils. This is the correct way to do it. We switching up some stuff. So for number 14, to clean your nail enhancement, you can use hand sanitizer or alcohol to clean those nails and the client's hands really good to get all of that dust off and everything from that nail service off of the client's hands. Make sure you turn those clients' hands, fingers around and clean out from up under their nails too. And then you're going to apply your nail oil for number 15. So boom. So once you've buff that nail really good, you want to clean the nail up really good, and then apply your nail oil is last, guys. Sorry about that. Apply your top coat. Apply your top coat finish, and then apply your nail oil. Sorry if I confused you guys. But for number 14, you want to clean up your nail enhancement with some alcohol hand sanitizer. Make sure the client's nails is real good. Clean out from under those nails real good. And then you want to apply your top coat finish or your designs or whatever you're going to do. Then apply your top coat and then apply your nail oil. That's the end of that. Simple and easy. And those are the end of our notes, guys. So let's go back over everything. We did the acrylic application. So for acrylic application, you want to apply your nail primer. Apply your, prepare your product for number 2. For number 3, dip your brush into the monomer liquid. Number 4, form your product bead. Number 5, place your bead on the free edge. Number 6, shape that product into the free edge. Number 7, place your second bead near the free, next to the free edge. And number 8, shape that bead. Shape that bead next to the free edge. Number 9, apply your smaller bead, which is around the cuticle area. And then number 10, press and smooth that bead. And then number 11, apply your, turn that client nail to the side profile. Make sure if it has any dents or whatever, go back in and apply your extra product. And then number 12, you want to shape and refine that product by using your drill and your file. And then number 13, you want to buff that nail enhancement. Once you buff that nail enhancement, number 14, you want to go ahead and clean it up. Clean up your nail enhancement. Number 15, once you clean up your nail enhancement, then you want to go ahead and apply your top coat finish. You know, if you're doing some basic nails or if you're going to do a design, do your designs and apply your top coat. And then number 16, then you want to apply your nail oils to rehydrate the nails. And that completes that. So let's get started with the nitty gritty. Anybody have any questions so far? Now it's question time. About the notes. If you have any questions about the notes, let me know now so we can go ahead and answer those questions before we get started with our product. So right here we have our training finger and then I have my training hand. So what we're going to do is our 3 bead method. And that is a good method for beginners. Okay. So what you should have that on your desk is your product, which is your acrylic powder. You need 2 dappen dishes. You need one with your, you need one for your monomer liquid. And then boom. You need one for your acetone. Boom. You need 100% Koniski nail brush. Was there a number 17? It was supposed to be another 17, but I shortened it up. So we did 16. There was no 17. I said it was 16, but I said it was 17, but it's 16. Sorry about that. So you have all of those. And if you have any questions, if you didn't get all of those, DM me and I will personally DM you 1 through 16. I will do that for you. So DM me if you need those notes and I will send them to you personally. And I'm also going to post them at the end of this video once we complete this live. And my pre-orientation is at 12 for the new students that's going to be enrolling into the new school. So if you guys want to be a part of that, then you need to click that link in my bio before 12 o'clock and fill out that free nail quiz form. It says Nail School. Click that link that says Nail School and it's going to take you to the form. So we have our, you need to get you some clear. You need to have about 2 colors. That's your crystal clear And then your nude or another color, whatever color you want to use, but you're gonna need a clear. Because first thing you want to do is lay that clear down once you put your primer. Now I have my brand primer. It's not out yet, guys, but I have my own brand of dehydrator and nail primer. This is a sample package for me. I've been using it for like 3 or 4 months now, and it is so good. Real soon I'm gonna be purchasing a lot of them. This is my own brand dehydrator and primer, y'all. I'm so excited about that. So boom. So first thing you're gonna do is, now if you have a dehydrator, you can go ahead and dehydrate the nail first, and you want to allow that to dry. Now we have our finger over here. We have our training finger and our training hand. We're going to be doing both, y'all. I'm going to be multitasking between the two. So what you need to have on your desk is your training hand or your training finger or whatever. And then you're going to have your, you must have a clear, and then you must have a color. Whatever color you want to use. I like to teach with nude. So we have our nude, and then we have our clear, and then you need a brush. You need your acrylic nail brush. 100% Kolinsky is a good brush for you to use, but if you don't have 100% Kolinsky, then whatever brush you got, go ahead and use it. But you need to make sure to get you a 100% Kolinsky brush, because that's going to help your nail enhancements. And so boom. So I've already showed you guys, you know, how to get a small bead, a medium bead, and a large bead. So I'm not going to take away from this training teaching that over again, but you will hear me talk about it. So, but if you don't understand, you can go back and watch that live from Tuesday, and you will know exactly what I mean when I'm telling you what I'm saying. So boom. Now that our dehydrator has dried up, now you want to go ahead and apply your primer. Remember, number 1, apply your primer. So when you apply your primer, make sure not to get primer on the nail tip. Only place it on your natural nail bed. You only need primer on the nail bed, and make sure that you don't waste it on the skin. Please don't get this on the skin, guys, because this could irritate the client's skin. So just make sure that you put your primer only on the natural nail. Only on the natural nail, y'all. So boom. Now that you place your primer, remember, allow it to dry. Never place your nail enhancement on a wet nail, because it can cause surface breakdown and product discoloration. So make sure that you allow that product, make sure you allow that primer to dry. Now can you guys see really good? Because if I turn the light up this high, that's how it's gonna be. Y'all not gonna be able to see nothing. So I'm kind of dimming it so you guys can still see. So just let me know if this is some good lighting right here. And just bear with me, because we're using our ring light. I don't have one of them fancy little things yet, but we're going to work on it. But so far, I want to make sure that you guys are watching me from the side, because from the side is a very good view. Because if I put it in front of me, you guys are not going to see what I'm doing. And if I put it behind me, that could be good too, putting it behind me. But if I put it behind me, y'all gonna barely see it too. So let me know if you guys can see what I'm doing. So once you allow that product to dry, which is your primer, now you want to prepare your dappen dishes. So prepare your dappen dish. So you need 2 dappen dishes. You need one for your monomer, and you need one for your acetone. This is your shampoo and your conditioner. The acetone is shampoo in this case, and the monomer is the conditioner. That's what's going to keep your brush hairs shampooed and conditioned. So you need your clear, and you need your color. You need your primer. You need your training hand or your training finger. And you need a nail brush and you need some napkins. Spread one napkin out. And then fold you up another piece of napkin. So that you can put your, you know, your remainings on. Your whatever. You know what I mean. But anywho, we finna get started, y'all. So once you've prepared your dappen dishes, I use mine straight from the containers because I already have little containers. I have big containers, but I pull all of my products in little containers. So these are my dappen dishes in this case. So now, after you prepared your product, now you want to dip your brush into the monomer. So just like I showed you on that live on Tuesday, when you're dipping your brush into your monomer, you want to make sure that those bristles are flat down into the monomer to get rid of those air pockets out of the bristles. Now we're going to do a medium bead. So to get a medium bead, like I showed you on that training on Tuesday, to do a medium bead, you want to wipe half of your brush on the back of the dappen dish. You want to drain half of the liquid out of that brush. And to get a medium bead, you want to dip your brush into the pattern at a 45-degree angle. Because if you do it at a high arch, and a high arch is for a small bead. 45-degree angle is a medium bead, and then the low angle is a large bead. In this case, we need a medium bead, so we're going to do a 45-degree angle. So we're going to use our clear first. Always put your clear on your natural nail first to protect the nail from staining from the color. So we're going to tap into that 2 times. We're going to wait 3 to 4 seconds till it become glossy and smooth. Once it becomes glossy and smooth, now it's time to place your product. So you're going to set it there, hold it, 1, 2, 3, and release. And then wipe your brush. Once you wipe your brush, now you want to go back in to manipulate the product where you need it to go. So once you walked it from one side to the other, now you want to go ahead and flush it into the nail. And keep your brush clean. So that's why you have your acetone right here. So boom. We're going to do that on that nail, and then we're going to also do it on our training finger. So with everything that we do on our training hand, we're going to do it to our training finger. Now, we're going to place our clear over the natural nail on the training finger. So now you want to dip your brush back into the liquid. Make sure the bristles are flat down into the monomer to get rid of the air pockets and the air bubbles. So we're going to do a little medium or a small bead. To do a small bead, you want to wipe the whole back side and drain out most of the liquid for a small bead. Now you want to tap your powder to get rid of that dip, because you don't want to double dip into a dent, because you're going to cause an uneven nail enhancement. So to get a small bead, you want to angle your brush at a high arch and just lightly tap into the powder 1 or 2 times depending on the size of your client nail. You want to wait 3 to 4 seconds till it become glossy and smooth. And now it's time to place it. You want to place it 3/4 at the cuticle area, not on the cuticle area. You want to leave a gap in between the product and the cuticle area. Hold it 1, 2, 3 and release. Now when you release, you just want to come up off of it like that. Just release, come up off of it. Wipe your brush. Always wipe your brush after you place a bead. And then go back in, and now you want to walk it up to the cuticle area a little bit. Walk it from one side of that nail to the other. And once you get it where it needs to go, then go ahead and flush it down the nail. Boom. Now clean your brush. Now, anytime that you're not using your powder, cover it back up. Put your tops back on, so we won't waste any product. So now we are dealing with our color. Now we finna get in with our 3 bead method. So let's get started. So now, clean your brush. And when you clean your brush, wipe it on one side and the other. Flip it and wipe it. So now, make sure you tap your powder to make sure those dents are out. Because if you double dip into a dent, and then you try to put it on here, it's going to be uneven. You're not going to be able to pick up that perfect bead because it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be on your brush into a weird funny shape, and you're going to get product in your brush. You're going to make your brush, you know, you're going to mess up your brush, and that bead is not going to be it's not going to be smooth. So now, dip your brush into your monomer. Make sure that the bristles is flat down into the monomer. Now we're going to do a medium bead. So you want to wipe half of the length of the brush. Drain half of the brush for a medium bead. Angle your brush into the pattern at a 45-degree angle. Tap into it. We're going to tap into this 2 times. Wait for it to become glossy and smooth. Boom. Now it's time to place. So when you placing this toward the free edge, you want to place it right where the tip meets the natural nail. Place it right there in the middle. Hold it 1, 2, 3 and release. Make sure your nail is tilted down. Wipe your brush. Now you want to take the body of your brush and walk that pattern from one side of the sidewall to the other. Once you get it over there, control your sides and just keep lightly pressing it down so it can move to the bottom. But you lightly walking it from one side to the other as it's moving down. Once you get it to the free edge, what you want to do is cap the rest of it. And when I say cap, I mean go ahead, take it under there, hit it like that to cap it off. And then, you know, pull the rest of that off of there. Boom. And now you want to wet your brush just a little bit and smoothen it. All you're doing is smoothing it at this point and capping it. Smooth it, cap it. This is going to help it seal quicker. Smooth it, cap it, smooth it, cap it. Now you want to make sure that line right here, you want to make sure this is flat. Because if it's too thick, then you're going to have to pick up a thicker bead and place on top of that. And by the time you get to the cuticle area, you got a thick cuticle area. And it's not going to look flush. Because the thicker you build that nail down here, the thicker it's going to be as you get way up here. So you want to make sure that line is flat and smooth like that. So now it's time for our second bead. So now clean your brush with the acetone, flip it. Do never twirl your brush and clean it like that. No. That is so wrong. Only do your design brushes like that, your pointy brushes. We don't want our acrylic brushes to be pointy. We want them to be round and flat like this. This is the way that it should look. Flat and round. So now, never wipe your brush off in a dirty spot on the napkin. Always wipe your brush off in another spot that's not dirty so you can keep your brush clean. So now, flatten your brush in the liquids to get rid of the air pockets. Now we want another medium bead. So now you want to drain half of the brush for a medium bead. Tap your pattern to get rid of the dip. Angle your brush into the pattern at a 45-degree angle. Tap into it 2 or 3 times depending on the size of your client nail. Wait for it to become glossy and smooth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. It's glossy and smooth. Now it's time to place. Place it right next to the free edge bead. Place it right there. 1, 2, 3 and remove. Wipe your brush. Take the body of your brush and go ahead and walk it from one side to the other. Now once you get it past that line, you need to go ahead and flush it. But make sure your brush is a little wet with the monomer. Flush it. Flush it. And then bring the rest of that up under there. And take it off. Boom. Now, Control your sides. Make sure your sides are in and even with the sidewalls. Wipe your brush. Wet it a little bit with the monomer. This is just to smoothen it. You want to make sure that you seal it. Now as you flushing it like this, that's going to make sure that it's sealed and smooth. And make sure to cap it, because you want to keep that shape at the edge. And look, we got that nice upper arch. You got that nice free edge upper arch. And now we're finna get ready and do our last bead. And if it don't look perfect, guys, don't worry about it, because once you finish that last bead, you're going to turn it to the side and look at it from both sides to see where you need to fill in, you know, some extra powder at. Clean your brush. Clean your brush. Now, we're going in for our last bead. So flatten your brush into the liquids. Now we're going for a small bead. So now we're going to wipe the whole, we're going to drain the whole back side of the brush for a small bead. You're draining most of the liquid out, because the more liquid, the more powder you're going to pick up. Flatten your brush, flatten your product to get rid of that dent, and angle your brush at a high arch now. Because when you angle it at a high arch, it's going to allow you to grab just a little bit of powder. Tap into it 1 or 2 times. You should only have powder on one side of the brush. It should only be on this side and not this side with any bead. Now place it right on the top of that bead. Hold it 1, 2, 3. Wipe your brush. Now walk it up to the cuticle area. Slide it around there. Once you get it around there, bring your sides in and flush it. And just smoothing it out. You want to make sure your brush is a little wet and it's not too dry when you're smoothing it. Make sure your brush is not dry when you're smoothing it, y'all, because if it's not dry, you're just going to create more ridges and lines in it. So make sure it looks pretty smooth before it seals. It takes 15 seconds to seal completely, depending on your monomer, what kind of monomer you have. So if you have a regular setting monomer that doesn't settle too slow or too fast, then it should take 15 seconds for it to settle. Boom. So now we have that nice size shaped nail. And I want to take this off so y'all can see it. Now this is how it looks. It's growing out of the, it look like it's growing out of the skin. Our cuticle area is, you know, flushed. And now you want to view it from the side wall so you can see if, you know, if you need any product anywhere. You can look at it from the free edge to see if you need any more product on the free edge. You can look at it from that side and this side. Now when you view it from the side, this is called side profile, and this is your front profile when you look at it like this from the front profile. And this is the client profile when you flip it up and look at it, you know, like that, because your client can see it, the shape of it, and you can too. So that's the client profile. This is the front profile, and this is the side profile. Now when you turn it to the sides, you can actually see if you need any more powder on the nail. So we need a little bit on our on this side. See right there where it's a little product missing? We're gonna fill that in right there. So this is the point to where, you know, you will clean that nail with your acetone. Make sure you're using the clean side of the napkin, and then you're going to go in for a small bead. Make sure to tap that container to get rid of the dents. Place your brush into the monomer liquid. Flatten out those bristles to get rid of the air pockets. And we're going for a small bead, so we're going to drain the whole back side of the brush. And then we're going to angle our brush at a high arch for a small bead. We just want a little bead, y'all. And so now we're going to wait for it 3-4 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Now it's glossy and smooth. And we're going to place it directly where we need it to go. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. And move. Wipe your brush. Now control your sides. Use the body of your brush to manipulate the powder. And you don't want to immediately start to flush on it, because if you do, you're just going to flush away your product. You just want to lightly tap it with your powder to get it where you need it to go. And then, you know, once you get it where you need it to go, then you're going to make sure that your brush is wet before you smoothen it out. And now you want to just smoothen it out, because you're going to give that, because when you are placing it, when you pressing down on it with the body of your brush, you giving it time to seal before you flush it. Because if you flush it too fast, y'all just gonna flush the powder right off of it. So don't flush too fast. You want to flush it once you get into its place, and once it starts to dry. Now when it's not dry but it's not runny, then it's time for you to flush it. So clean your brush on both sides. And now I'm going to let y'all look at that, where I filled it in at. You see, a while ago it was missing product on the side. Now I just filled all of that in. So that looks pretty good. We have an apex. We have our apex right here, which is the strongest part of the nail. We have a flush cuticle area. And then, you know, we have a pretty thin free edge. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. Now, don't worry about the shape, because we're going to shape that out. We just need this to dry. So while we're letting this dry, we're going to go ahead and do it again on our finger. So if you missed it the first time, you get to catch the whole thing again. So boom. Now we're going to allow that to dry while we do this one now. So always clean your brush first, because you can never be too sure if that brush is clean or not. So we've already placed our clear on the nail. Remember, always after you prime the nail first, once you place your product, you want to always place your clear down on the natural nail bed, because that is what protects protects your nail from staining from the colors. So tap your product to get rid of those dents. Now, switch out your napkins. I'm going to go ahead and dispose of that one. I usually just have me a lot of them lined up together. That way when I get done with one, I fold it up, throw it away, and boom, I got my other one waiting on me. So now, once you clean your brush, dip your brush all the way flat into the product, into the liquid, y'all. Sorry, I'm getting a little tired tongue here. Flatten your brush all the way into the monomer liquid. Now we want a medium bead, so we're gonna we're gonna drain half of the brush. Now for a medium bead, we want to angle your brush into the powder at a 45-degree angle and tap into it 1 or 2 times, depending on, you know, the size of your client's nail. Wait 3 to 4 seconds for it to dry. Now you want to place that bead right there at the free edge where that tip meets the natural nail. Hold it 1, 2, 3, and just lightly remove your brush. Wipe your brush. Now walk that powder from one side of that nail to the other, making sure you cover up that natural nail. And then all you want to do is lightly press it so it can move down the nail as you walking it to one side to the other, controlling your sides, making sure that your sides are even with your sidewalls. Once you get it all the way down to the free edge, smoothen the whole nail and cap the rest of that powder off. You want to be a little firm when you pressing on it, so that can pinch off of it, the rest of it. And then you just want to go back in and glide over the nail to get rid of those imperfections, as it says in the notes that I read to you earlier. So boom. That's our first bead on that. So now we're gonna go in with our second bead. So clean your brush, the acetone. Boom. Tap your pattern to get rid of the dent. Put your brush in your monomer liquid flat down to get rid of those air pockets. We're doing a medium bead again. So drain half of the length of your brush to drain out half of the liquid. Angle your brush into the pattern at a 45-degree angle. Tap into it 1, 2, or 3 times depending on the size of your client nail. Wait for it to absorb for 3 to 4 seconds. Place your product right next to the free edge. Hold it 1, 2, 3 and release. Wipe your brush. Now walk it from one side to the other using the body of the brush. Once you get it past the first line, flush it. And that's what's going to create that, you know, that apex. So you flushing it once you get past the first line where that where the free edge starts. Where that bead of the free edge starts. And this is beautiful. So boom. That's your second bead. Now boom. Clean your brush. Tap your pattern to get rid of the dents. Place your brush flat into the monomer to get rid of those air pockets. Now we want a small bead. So you want to drain the whole length of your brush to drain out most of the liquid. Angle your brush at a high arch now for a small bead. Tap into it 1 or 2 times. Wait for it. Wait for it. 1, 2, 3. It's glossy and smooth. Now place it right on the top of that bead, leaving that 3 to 4 gap. 1, 2, 3. Release. Wipe your brush. Slide it up around the cuticle area, but make sure that it's flushed. Once you walk it all the way around there, now you want to go ahead, wet your brush a little bit, and then flush it. Boom. Flush it into that second bead where it'll look even. Now you want to glide the brush all over the nail and make sure to smoothen out the imperfections. That's all we doing. Now this is your 3 bead method. Now you want to make sure your brush is a little wet when you're doing this, because if it's dry, you're just going to create more lines when you're smoothing it. Now you want to view it from the side. Make sure and see where it's missing product at. So we need a little bit more product on this side. You see right there, it's missing a little product. So we're just going to fill that in. So we're going to wipe our brush, clean our brush, tap our powder, flatten our brush into the monomer liquids all the way down to get rid of the air pockets. Drain the whole back side because we only want a small bead. Angle your brush at a high arch and tap into it 1 or 2 times. Wait for it to become glossy and smooth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place it on the side. That really was too much, so I need to take off the rest of that. And now wipe your brush. Make sure it's wet a little bit. Tap it where you need it to go. Don't flush it yet. Control your sides. Make sure the sidewalls are even with the side of the nail. And then once you get it where it needs to go, go ahead and flush the whole nail. And clean your sides. And I need a little bit more at the cuticle area. Right there. You see it's missing a little bit right there. So we're going to place that 3/4 from the cuticle area. Tap your powder. Dip your brush in. Flatten out the bristles to get rid of the air pockets. Drain the whole back side because again we want a small bead. Angle your brush in there at a high arch. Wait for it to become glossy and smooth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place it. 1, 2, 3. Remove. Wipe your brush. Slide it up there around where you need it to go. Once you get it where you need to go, go ahead and flush. Wipe your sides. Wipe your sides. Look at that. Beautiful. 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 Now, close up your containers. Clean out your dappen dishes. Now, we don't reuse the same liquid. So take you some acetone. Pour it on a napkin or pour a little bit into the dappen dishes. This is the way I clean out my dappen dishes because acetone works for so much, y'all. Just clean out those dappen dishes. You want to make sure that glass is crystal clear and clean. Woo. Acetone works for a lot of stuff. Ooh. You want to make sure those dappen dishes are clean, crystal clear. Make sure your containers are closed. Make sure your brush is clean and flat. And when you store your brush, store it upward like this. This is the way you need to store your brush. Never store it downward. Store it this way. But I have a top for my brush. So I just put the top back in there. This is my 100% Kolinsky nail brush by Cheville. This is a size 10. This is a really pretty, good brush. These are now $25, so if you want to order one, DM me. And so the way you can tell if it's dry, all you have to do is tap it. If you get that tapping noise, that means it's dry. Boom. If you hear that tapping noise, that means it's dry. So, boom. So guys, this completes our lesson for today. We have our free edge area, which is nice and pretty thin and not too thin and smooth. We have our apex, which is, you know, strong. And then we have our flushed cuticle area, which is nice and flush. Look like it's growing out of the skin, y'all. Boom. And we also have the same thing for our training finger. We have our free edge part, which is nice. It's not too thin. It's not too thick. We have our upper arch, like it's growing out of the nail. And then we have our cuticle area, which is nice and flush. And so tomorrow we are going to come in and do the fundamentals. Tomorrow we're going to come in and do the fundamentals of electric fouling. So this completes our lesson for today, guys. We did our 3 bead methods of our training finger and our training hand. And we did amazing. And we went over the notes for acrylic application, guys. So just compare all of these notes that I did today, and you have a whole freaking training session. Also, make sure to click that link in my bio and go and register for nail school and get on the list. And also go and purchase my online nail course. What I do is I teach beginners how to master nails like a pro, guys, starting from sanitation all the way down to how to book your clients and how to rebook them and how to get you some new clients. So that completes the end of the lesson on today. Don't forget to click that link in my bio and purchase my online nail course for beginners. I'm a licensed nail instructor. My name is Cheville Baker, and I teach beginners how to master nails like a pro. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you guys have a blessed day, and see you guys later. Bye. Bye-bye.